Are we live? Okay, guys, I think we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aussizz Group. We are here with another live session, and we'll be taking care of all your questions as we already been doing, and try our best to answer your questions. So today, the topics which we are covering are regarding the state nominations, which we are hearing news for Brisbane, and New South Wales and ACT, and also with regards to the WA nominations as well. We have panel, and also with regards to the partner visas, we have some queries and regarding the criteria, eligibility criteria to be which we need to meet for the purpose of partner visas. So we have with us from Brisbane, Sohag. Welcome, Sohag. Sohag, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sohag, thank you. And we have with us Preeti from Western Australia. Welcome, Preeti.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then I'll be taking care of New South Wales and ACT nominations. And Gunjan is with us with regards to the partner visa queries. All sort of queries we can, definitely give it to Gunjan. Hi, Gunjan. Welcome to the live session.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. So guys, as we know that, we are hearing news, especially New South Wales, ACT. We had a recent, the invitation round as well with ACT, and New South Wales has announced that they'll be, announcing 491 and 190 soon. So maybe we can get started with it, with Brisbane, because we have had news that they have already been open from 1st of February. And if, Sohag, if you can let us know the nomination criteria, the invitation criteria, so that our viewers, our existing clients, they can have better idea about it.
Sure, thank you very much. The Queensland state nomination, it was open last Monday, 1st of February, and they're open till 7th February. So they will be open for 7 days, and and then they will reopen again in April, but they haven't mentioned any date yet. So we'll be focusing at the moment of for the 491 and 190, what are those requirements and who can apply and who cannot apply. So let's start with the 491. So they haven't mentioned any specific list for the 491. And you have to basically prove that your occupation is helping COVID recovery and helping Australian and Queensland economy. So the basic requirement for 491 is you must be working in regional Queensland for last 3 months full-time, minimum 35 hours a week. And you must have a 12-month full-time job contract, again 35 hours a week for last 3 months full-time. And you can be in different industry working. So there's no specific list again for the 491. And so it could be in engineering, critical infrastructure, supply chain. It could be in telecommunication, film and television production, maritime industry, agriculture technology, and food technology, mining, emerging technology, financial technology, and large-scale manufacturing. So these are the sectors they have specified that these will be given a priority for 491. Now it could be an accountant, it could be engineer, it could be IT. There are all the fields, all the field and sectors. People who are working in this can apply for 491. So after you apply for 491 within this specific date, 1st to 7th February, then you have to attach a letter saying that how your occupation is helping COVID recovery plan as per the government. Then they will assess your profile, and then they will send you an invitation. So we already got 2 invitations, one yesterday and one today. It was a dentist, and the one today which we got is pharmacy technician. Yet so far we haven't got many. They are still open till 7th February. So people who haven't applied yet, they can still apply, but they have to still meet the critical sector requirement. Now with the 190, they have specifically mentioned they will only invite those who are on a PMSOL. So there are only 18 occupations. So those occupations who are not over there, they will not be invited. Another main requirement for 190 is you need to have minimum 80 points, including state nomination. So 75 plus 5, and then your occupation must be on the PMSOL. So that's a very clear requirement for the 190 from the Queensland. Apart from that, they are still open for the SBO. So they were open from 18th December, still they are open. So small business ownership, people who have been doing a business in regional Queensland, they can still apply. For the SBO, basic requirement is that you need to invest 100K in existing business. It cannot be in partnership, and you have to be only the partner, 100% owner of that business. You have to run that business for 6 months, and then you are eligible to apply for Queensland state nomination. Again, you still need to have a skill assessment and minimum 50 points plus 15 from the state. So it becomes 65, the minimum home office requirement. So these are the basic requirements for the Queensland state nomination. 191 SBO, 191 working category, and 190 working category. So these are the pretty much basic requirement from the Queensland.
Okay. Thanks, Sohag. We'll definitely take questions if we have any with regards to Brisbane. So guys, as Sohag has mentioned that it's open for only a few days. So hurry up if you guys have any business or if you think you qualify and need help. So definitely we have Sohag in Brisbane. You can, definitely contact Aussizz. And while we are having this live session, if you have any questions regarding Brisbane or any, questions regarding to criteria or your eligibility or any requirements, definitely you can put your questions in. We'll move to Preeti. Preeti, what do we have for Western Australia and the clients or the viewers who are there living in Western Australia?
All right. Thank you, Prabhjot. And hello, everyone. I'm Preeti. I'm the migration agent and I work in the Perth office. And I would be talking about the WA state nomination as unlikely. WA never does that, but they were the first one to reopen their state nominations. The state has already given the first round after when they have closed. So the round was in the second week of January. And in the new round, what they have done is the requirements are exactly the same what they were earlier, that the applicant must have studied in Western Australia for 2 years. The study can be relevant or irrelevant to your nominated occupation, or even if you have studied English for 2 years, that's even considered as a 2 years of a study in Western Australia. This is separate to the department's requirement where the study of an English, you don't get the points as an Australian study because people do get confused about it. But for WA state nomination, that will be fine even if you have studied that. Whether you are currently living in WA or you are in any other state, as long as you have studied in Western Australia currently, last 10 years, last 15 years, whenever you have done, you are eligible for that one. Your occupation must be on a WA skills occupation list, which is called as WASOL. And they have got quite a bit of a plenty long list of an occupation. In this current round, they have made few occupations available, many of the occupations available, and there are few which are unavailable, which means they are not going to be invited in the rounds until they become available. The list of WASOL, as per our analysis, we have seen the occupations which are unavailable is like an accountant or anything related to the teachers, or anything related to a travel industry like a pilot, airplane pilot and all that. So it's more or less, it's exactly the same occupation list which we had before they closed the program, and they are eligible to apply for. The round of an invites is done by the state government. There is no application that you have to do before you are invited. You just only have to lodge your expression of interest. And it is on the grounds of the invites are being given to you on the grounds of what kind of a study you have done. Because there are two streams. One is the master's, where you have done either the bachelor's or the master's degree, or you have done the wet course, which includes your English course, certificate 3, 4, diploma, up to the advanced diploma. The way that they are going to invite you is on the basis of highest level of study done in Western Australia. The last round that we have seen, they have invited the people in the wet sector with the advanced diploma as the highest study, and in the master's degree as the highest study undertaken. The people who have done their bachelor's study or have done their diploma, they are still waiting for the invites, and probably we are hoping that in this round, which is going to be in February, we will start receiving those invites. And now it all depends upon what is your highest qualification, and so is the points. If you have done diploma, and even if you're sitting at 90 points or 85 points, you are not invited. But you have done an advanced diploma sitting at 65 points, for example, a chef, you were invited. So I have seen many times what has happened, that people, they do not mention their highest level of study attained. Because even if the diploma makes their 2 years of a study, this is what they have done. Or after lodging an EOI, if they have finished their advanced diploma and they have not updated their EOI, that also affects. So make sure that your EOI which you have lodged, or if you have not lodged, you must lodge it, because the invites is not on the basis of an application. The invites are basis on the expression of interest and the date you have lodged your EOI. Another major factor for the WA state nomination is a job offer or 6 months of an experience in the nominated occupation, not in the study that you have undertaken. People do get confused about that. I have done my MBA, but my skills occupation is the restaurant manager. So what do I need to go for? You basically have to look into that, what is your nominated occupation, and either you should have 6 months of an Australian experience, which can be anywhere in Australia, or you can have 6 months of a job offer in Western Australia. The experience that is counted for 20 hours per week. So even if you have been working part-time, that's fine, which is an Australian experience, but the job offer needs to be on the grounds of 35 hours per week for at least the 6 months from the date you have been invited. Let's say that you are having a contract for the 6 months and 3 months have already gone, and then you are invited, then that is not valid. So either you finish your contract for 6 months and you have 6 months of an Australian experience, or from the date you are invited, you have got the further 6 months of a contract in Western Australia in your nominated occupation. So this is pretty much all about the WA state nomination. I would highly encourage everyone to lodge their expression of interest. If you need any further information, please call our office or come and see us. We are there to help you guys.
Thank you so much, Preeti. That was definitely great information. And we definitely hope that all our viewers, they are preparing themselves and making sure that they are taking care of, the requirements which Preeti has just told us. And if you have any questions regarding Western Australia, guys, most welcome. We are happy to take those questions. We'll move to New South Wales and ACT, because definitely that's a hot topic I would like to discuss. And my name is Prabhjot. I forgot to introduce myself, and I'm a registered migration agent. With regards to New South Wales, as we know that we've been hearing that New South Wales will be opening soon for the purpose of subclass 491, if I have to say, and then 190 as well. They have defined the list of occupations, and honestly, they have limited the the occupation list, and they're more into critical sector, which are mostly into medical people from medical background and IT and engineers. So I can read out the list to you as well. Before heading towards the list, I would also like to mention the criteria, the requirements New South Wales has announced for the purpose of 49 and 190. So we start with the 190. So Just a brief regarding these visas, because we've got many clients who are not aware the difference between 189, 190, and 491 as well. So the difference between all three is like, just to brief you guys, that 189 is obviously independent and at the same time direct PR. 190 is where we call it as a state nomination, and whereby state helps us with the 5 points. 491 is a provisional visa leading to PR, and here this visa is called as state sponsorship, where state helps us with the 15 points. Now the question arises, why would state give us 15 points or help us nominating or give us even 5 points? So they've got their criteria. If you want to target 491 and nothing is happening in 189 and 190, it's important that we try to target 491, whereby if we are trying to target 491, somehow you're making yourself eligible for 189 and 190 as well, because 491 is basically based on the regional criteria. If we're meeting that, definitely we are somehow meeting 189 and 190 as well. So when it comes to New South Wales, they have recently made a bit of changes in 190. Initially, usually for most of the states, they used to say that a person has to be here and should be working for at least 1 year in his profession. So that is not there anymore. Obviously, residency criteria is definitely they want to see, and they would like to look into it, that you are dedicated and showing your commitment to New South Wales. Now coming to 491, the requirements, this time they have made, there are 3 requirements with regards to 491 visa New South Wales, and they have announced their list as well. They have defined the regions as well, that these are the regions, whereby these are the occupations which will fall under these regions. So not all occupations will be available in all the regions, New South Wales regions I'm talking about. They have, file on their website as well, and I can also let you know the regions as well. So the criteria, which is very important this time for New South Wales nomination, the sponsorship, is that first, you should be living and working in your occupation, which is nominated occupation, for 1 year at least. Right. So, for example, if I'm a civil engineer, I have to be working as a civil engineer in regional for 1 year, and then I'll be qualifying, or I have a chance that I may get an invitation. Second, they say live and study for 2 years in regional area New South Wales. Now, slight, difference between when we were, when we had last invitation round for 491, that time they didn't really specify related or not related. This time they have specifically mentioned that the study which you're doing has to be related. For example, if I'm from engineering background, I'm a civil engineer, and I couldn't get anything from 189 and 190. Now I'm planning that I should be studying maybe MBA, for example, right? And I complete 2 years of MBA in New South Wales Regional. Tomorrow I cannot go and tell that, hey, I've studied in New South Wales Regional, I'm qualifying. No. So they have mentioned it clearly that the study has to be related study. And that is when you can go ahead and, maybe apply for 491 and you could be eligible. Now, the third criteria, we have got so many clients and we've been hearing inquiries as well from our viewers that what if you're not living and working in New South Wales regional area? So they have made the third category, which is definitely beneficial for those who neither have 1 year of experience in New South Wales regional, nor they have studied in regional New South Wales. So they say if you're living and working outside regional New South Wales, your options are as follows. So first, get a job offer in your occupation. So for example, if I'm in Sydney, for example, in CBD, and I'm working as a civil engineer or maybe as a software engineer, let's take example, software engineer. So if I'm able to get a job offer from regional New South Wales, from wherever regions they have defined, I might have a chance and I might get an invitation for 491. So all you need is job offer, but make sure guys that this job offer has to be full-time. That means 35 hours per week, and it has to be for 12 months. The offer should be for 12 months. This is the, definitely good, I would say one of the criteria where, I do not have 1 year of experience or 2 years of study. I didn't do 2 years of study as well. I might have a chance rather than waiting for 1 year. This could be easy and quicker as compared to other 2 criteria. Now, the other option they have provided is, that if you're offshore candidate, that's the another category when we talk about the offshore candidates, or talking about the people who are not living and working in regional New South Wales. Now, fourth, as in the third option under this, is that if you have a family ties. I would see when it comes to family ties, the family person or the relative has to be living in New South Wales. Not that if I'm here planning to get New South Wales Regional 491 and my family is living in Victoria Regional New South Wales, that won't work, guys. Your family member has to be in Regional New South Wales and has to be living there. Now, these are the criteria. I would also like to give you a heads up on the occupations, the defined list which they have mentioned. Mainly IT engineers and nurses is what they are looking into. In 190, when it comes to IT, definitely we have a business analyst, a system analyst, analyst programmer, developer programmer, software engineers, ICT security specialist is also there. But when we compare it with 491 list, a bit of I would say disappointment, where they have not mentioned business analyst and system analyst. They're more focused on software engineers, developer programmer, and then we have analyst programmer as well. So we have got so many clients who've been working here as a software engineer. If you are able to get a job offer in regional New South Wales, then definitely you definitely have a very good chance. Now, regions which they have defined for 491 are as follows, which is Central Coast, then you have Central West, Far South Coast, then Far West, Hunter, Illawarra, Mid-North Coast, Northern Inland, Northern Rivers, then Orana, Riverina, Southern Inland, and Sydney. And most of the occupations, as in when we talk about nurses, most of the nurses are available. Engineers, we have surprisingly mechanical engineer is there on the 491 list, and we do not have mechanical engineer on 190 list. So just in case we're thinking that it's not available for 190, we have a chance for 491. So all you need is a job offer from New South Wales Regional. So yeah, for engineers, we have civil engineers, we have structural engineers, we have industrial, mechanical. Nurses, like I said, most of the nurses are available. And then surprisingly, we have got civil engineering task person and civil engineering technician as well available for 491, just in case you're not working at professional level. If you have experience, if you think or maybe you are able to get the assessment as technician or a task person, definitely you have a chance, guys. So this is all about 491 for New South Wales. Coming to ACT, ACT, we recently had a round on 27th of January, and whereby we had many invitations for our clients as well. If you are interested to know the points, definitely we're happy to let you know what occupation went on which points. But with regards to ACT, guess what, guys? They have added so many occupations. Within last few days, they have added so many occupations, and such occupations which you'd be surprised to know, like we have gardener, we have hairdresser. I would also like to cover here that we have got clients, or we've got viewers as well, and people who are following us, especially, IT, from IT background. Now, what's happening with ACT is that they have introduced a critical list. And good thing about critical list is that they do not have any caveats over IT occupation, especially. Usually when the basic list, the original list, they had this caveat, which is caveat means there was this condition that your occupation is only if you're working in your occupation. If you're not working in your occupation is deemed to be closed. Now, with regards to their current critical list, they do not have any sort of caveats or any conditions on IT. So that means you don't have to worry about this. But we see, at the same time, we're not sure for how long this critical list would be there. But we have got clients who have been in ACT and they've got invitation under IT, and there are many people who are holding two occupations. So, for example, I'm from accounting background from my home country, and here I studied IT. Now, accounting and IT both can be very good options when it comes to ACT. Currently, I'm talking about the current scenario because we have got many clients, accountants especially, they are a bit disappointed that their occupation is not there in New South Wales. But however, if we try, and if we are able to move to ACT, you have two options available there. First, accounting, which is a good thing. Surprisingly, they have added accountants. Second, IT is also available. So that means we can go both ways. Now, the point system in ACT is quite different as compared to other states, or as compared to 189 visas as well. I mean, when we talk about journal point system, they have very good point system, and ACT is one of my favorite states as well. So their point system works differently, as in if you live there, you get points. If you study there, you get points. If your occupation is open, you get 20 points straight away. If you're working in your occupation, you get straight away 20 points. They're not asking for how long. They're saying you're working, fine, perfect, 20 points. Now, if you work there for 6 months, you get 5 points. You live there for 1 year, you get 5 points. So very good point system. Especially accountants, this is for you if you are living in New South Wales and you think that you do not have a good chance here, then definitely I would suggest, if you're able to move to ACT, you might have a good chance there, provided the accountants are still open there. But currently they're open. Definitely I would suggest you can move to ACT. That's it for ACT and New South Wales. I think we can move to partner visas now, and we have with us Gunjan. Gunjan, if you can let us know the criteria, the eligibility, requirements for the partner visas, and if we have any updates and any other topics you would like to cover for partner visas.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhjot. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Gunjan, and I work as a registered migration agent with Aussizz Group in Melbourne office. I'm going to talk about the partner visas and basically all the things that you need to take care of and all the do's and don'ts as well. I will summarize it, and plus I will address the complexities that can arise with your partner visa application. Now, I would also like to highlight that we are running a 14% promotion on our professional fees until only 14th of February. So whatever our professional fees is, we are giving 14% off till 14th February. Now, partner visas are very common, and then they can be quite complex as well. It is not a straightforward application. The main criteria is that your sponsor, whom you are married to, has to be a permanent resident and an Australian citizen. Now, there are three types of partner visas. It depends on where the applicant is located, like whoever is lodging the application, the applicant, where you are located. Depending on that location, you will be lodging your visa application. I would like to start with the prospective marriage visa. Now, prospective marriage visa is for people who are not married, and the intention is to get married, and they are engaged to the sponsor. So this is for people who want to come here, who want to get married, but keep in mind that you have to be married within 9 months of your visa application. One of the main criteria is that you have to have met in person, and you must be above 18 years of age. You have to be an adult to process, to lodge the partner visa application. The second type of visa application is onshore. So for people who are already in Australia, they are holding a visa, whether a student visa, working holiday visa, or any visa, they're already in Australia in the migration zone. That's onshore application. The benefit of onshore application is that if you're holding a visa application, a visa already, and you lodge a partner visa, you get on the bridging visa A. That keeps you legal in the country till your visa is decided. So you get full work rights on bridging visa A as well. Now, there are different complexities involved with bridging visa as well. This is only for people who get bridging visa A. Now, it comes with offshore applications. Offshore applications is for people who are not in Australia. The applicants are not in Australia. The sponsor is in Australia or outside, doesn't matter. But the main applicant is not in Australia, is he or she is outside Australia, outside the migration zone. Now, obviously, there are different types of visas. So prospective, onshore, and offshore. For onshore, you do not have to be, if you're not on a substantive visa and you're holding a bridging visa, there are a lot of complexities involved in it. If you're a student here, for example, your visa has expired and you're not holding any visa, or you are holding a bridging visa E, I would like to mention there's a lot of complexities involved in it because there is something to be addressed, which is called a Schedule 3. Now, Schedule 3 is that you have to convince the department that why you are lodging an application in Australia and why you're not lodging an application outside Australia. This has to be met at the time of application. There are a lot of mistakes that a lot of people do is they lodge their application being on bridging visas, or they're unlawful in the country, and then they forget to mention these criteria. So, for example, that the examples of compelling and compassionate reasons can be that if, for example, if you have a child who is living in Australia, who is studying in school, and these are some examples, like if you have a child, you have 2-3 children living in Australia already, they are going to school. So you can say that it will be difficult for them to adjust in outside Australia in their culture, the education sector. There can be some of the criteria like that. Now, there are 2 ways you can lodge a partner visa. One is you're married, you lodge on the basis of marriage certificate. Second, if you are a de facto. Now, de facto has got 2 ways you can lodge the application. The definition of de facto is that you have been in a relationship for 12 months. You must be living together for 12 months. There are situations where there are couples who have not been living together in Australia for 12 months. That does not mean that you cannot lodge the application, even if you're in a genuine relationship. There are ways that you can lodge your relationship registration, keeping in mind that all the states, Victoria, New South Wales, ACT, Western Australia, they have different requirements of relationship registration. Now, for example, I had a client where student visa is expiring on 15th of March this year, and he has been living with his partner for only 6 months. And he's in a genuine relationship. So by the time he will lodge the application, he wanted to study, like he had a lot of other advice that you can lodge a student visa. But my advice is that if you are in a genuine relationship with your partner who is a permanent resident or a citizen, you are eligible to lodge a partner visa. You do not have to lodge other visas just to stay in Australia, because all the applications have to be a genuine application, whether it's any visa, whether it's a partner visa, it has to be a genuine application. Now, another aspect is that with every partner visa, you have to submit 2 forms that are statutory declarations. Now, without those statutory declarations, you cannot lodge a valid application. Once you have lodged a valid application for your temporary visa, you become eligible for a permanent visa after 2 years of your lodgement of temporary visa. For example, if you've lodged an application on 1st of January 2021 for temporary visa, you can lodge your permanent visa on after 1st of January 2023, after 2 years of lodgement. Now, talking about the complexities of partner visa, there can be a lot of complex situations. For example, there can be a huge age gap difference between the sponsor and the applicant. There can be a cultural difference, or the applicant or the sponsor, you both have been married before, once, twice, you've had children, or you have not been in a long-term relationship. Or, for example, if you do not have enough supporting documents to support your relationship. There can be health issues. There can be character issues if you have had a criminal offense, if you have had a visa cancellation or visa refusal in the past. So there are a lot of complexities involved in it. So the reason I'm mentioning all these complexities, it is very important for you, before you lodge the application, that you prepare the application in a way that you have to address these issues at the time you lodge the application. And it is highly recommended that you consult an experienced registered migration agent to get advice before you lodge the application. Because, like I said, it is not as simple as it looks like. You also have to keep in mind any incorrect or misleading information that you're putting in the application. For example, we've had situations where people have put incorrect dates they met, the date they committed to each other, date they got married to each other. So keep in mind that is incorrect information going to the department. even if you have done it by mistake. Even if you have done those mistakes, there are ways that we can help you to correct it before you are jeopardized with that situation. Now, also to keep in mind that a case officer can take a decision with what you have submitted at the time you lodged the application. Another aspect is you can have an interview, whether it's onshore application or offshore application. You can be called for an interview, the applicant and the sponsor, whether it's phone interview or face-to-face. After the visa application is lodged, you do not have to wait for the department to get back to you. What we do is after we lodge the application, we remain in constant touch and update the department with documents to show that you are in a genuine and continuing relationship with your partner, and you have to meet all the aspects of the relationship. So there are a lot of aspects to relationship, like for example, the social aspect, financial aspect, mutual commitment. A lot of documents to be considered, and all the documents that should go to the department should be genuine. It should not look like that those documents you have, like for example, you've opened a bank account just for the purpose of a partner visa. It's just a small example that if you have opened a joint bank account, you should be using that account for your day-to-day expenses. One point to take care of that, for example, for offshore applications where the applicant is outside Australia and the sponsor is in Australia, you have not lived together. Now, the mutual aspect of living together is obviously you will not have a lot of bills, you will not have a lot of joint bank accounts, but our job is to cover up that aspect with other documents of mutual aspect, like support from your family members. Department does not expect that you should have a joint bank account sometimes if you're not living together, but you can be sending gifts to each other. You could be buying something for each other. You could be sending money to each other for help. So there are other ways you can address financial aspect. So yes, I would highly recommend. Our job as registered migration agents is to make sure that you have met all the requirements at the time you have lodged the application. No incorrect or misleading information goes to the department and we're going to help you till your visa decision is made. Again, I'm going to mention that we are running a 14% promotion on our professional fees until the 14th of February. So you can contact us for further information.
Okay, so thank you so much, Gunjan.
Thank you
for your feedback. For your the information you have given and the requirements and eligibility, and you have covered the aspects whereby we know that our clients or any of the applicants may go wrong with when it comes to the 4 pillars of the partner visa, especially financial, social aspect, household, and commitment. So yes, guys, whosoever is watching us, make sure that you try and cover all the aspects, especially when it comes to the 4 pillars and covering them in your relationship statements. The dates are important, like Gunjan has mentioned, when you guys first met, the place, everything is important. So yes, I think we can get started with the questions and take more questions. Okay, so we have with us Delnas. Hi, can I know how sponsorship visa for employees work? Hi, Delnas, thank you for your question. Well, currently we're not discussing employer sponsor visas, but just to brief you, to give you a heads up, as long as you've got enough experience. So for example, for 482 visa, you have to have at least 2 years of experience. And for 186 and 494, you have to have 3 years of experience. If you have your experience in your nominated occupation, that occupation is available, we can look into the details and look into your employer sponsor visas as well if you're interested, and definitely guide you through these types of visas. Then we have with us Seni Aman. He says, hi chef, 80 points New South Wales or 90 for 491. Hi Seni, thank you for your questions. As we have mentioned and discussed New South Wales previously as well, and this live session as well, I've mentioned that currently if we talk about chef, whether it's 190 and 491. Unfortunately, this particular occupation is not open. But the good thing is that chef is on long-term list, so you have chance for 189. But at the same time, these days, because of COVID-19, you might not immediately get the invitation. If you're just sitting on 80 points or 90 points, I would recommend that you increase your points. Try to claim more points, whether it's PT, whether it's experience. Now, if you have been working, just in case, you might have a chance to go for employer sponsor visas as well. We can look into your profile in details, and you can contact us, maybe just, if not in New South Wales, maybe in any other state, or if not in any of the states, maybe employer sponsor visa could be your option. Now we have question from Raheel Ahmed. Hi, I'm just wondering what's the difference between electronics and communications trades worker, journal, and special class? What are the requirements to get nominated in Western Australia? Preeti, this question is for you.
All right. Hi, thank you for the question. And, electronic instrument trade person and the special class, they both are closely related to each other. Okay, so it all depends upon what kind of a work do you have. And when you go for a skills assessment, when you apply for the skills assessment, what have you undergone that work or not? When the TRA is the assessment body for this one, and if you have done a job ready program, you need to have to do the job ready program for 1 year, and minimum certificate 4 is the requirement to undergo this skills assessment. Okay, the job ready program will depend upon, when they give you the assessment outcome, will depend on what kind of work have you done. The general class will have the work like in the computer hardware shops, or the radios and all those kind of shops, where you are doing the basic kind of electronic equipments. Any electronic equipments which has got the telecommunication equipments also included in it. However, the special class would be in the manufacturing or the processing plants, where you do the hydraulic or the pneumatic and those kind of a process and functionings. So when it comes to the special class, it is more relevant to the instrumentation and the calibration of the instrumentation work that you have done it. So if you have studied in Western Australia and you are picking up this occupation, the special class is in the WA list, but the one which is the general stream is not in WA list. So your skills assessment must be electronic instruments trade person, special class, for which the experience should be in the manufacturing or any kind of an industry, which I've just talked about it. Hope that clears your answer.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you so much. We have another question for you, Preeti. Anand Chaudhary is asking, any chance for 190 chef in Western Australia at 85 points?
Oh, yes, at 85 points, that's a good point. Depending upon now, WA doesn't go with the points as such. The first criteria is, what have you studied? Okay, let's say that yours is a chef and you have studied master's degree, right? Then it is going to be considered on the basis of the as per the compare with the master's degree. If you have done an advanced diploma and you have got even 65 points, you will be invited. Generally, the people who have taken up the chef, they have done the diploma as their highest study in WA. They were not invited in the last round, but in the current round, we are expecting the diploma holders who have studied the diploma in WA should also get invited. And your points are quite good enough to be invited in this round then.
Perfect. Thank you, Preeti.
All right.
Then we have question from Ishwar Dahal. If I have a skill assessment as a chef, will I be eligible for 482 medium term if I have a sponsorship company? Hi, Ishwar. Like I've mentioned before, as long as if you're meeting the criteria for 482, you need to have at least 2 years of experience. If you have 2 years of experience and there's an employer, there's a sponsor who is happy to sponsor you, yes, you can go ahead with 482 visa. And if you would like us to help you further and guide you through what are the requirements, what are the steps steps we need to follow, because in 482 there are 3 steps: sponsorship application, nomination, and visa application. And also there are some caveats as well on chef, especially when it comes to 482, there are few occupations whereby we have conditions which we need to look into that as well. I hope I've answered your question. We have Power Bhaskar. Any update on New South Wales 190 for software engineer? Hi Power, thank you for the question. Definitely we have update and we have good news as well, especially software engineers. As I've mentioned before, it's open for 190 and 491 for both of them. So yeah, good news. And on top of that, if you're working in your occupation, definitely you have a bright chance depending on your the points as well. So yeah, a very good news for 190 and for 491, people who are expecting either of these visas to be there for them. And then the software engineers, definitely it's there in New South Wales 190 list. Then we have a question for Queensland. Can I know how much we need for web developer Queensland?
It's depend whether you are applying 190 or 491. With the 190, Queensland has clearly mentioned that they want to nominate only 17 occupations from the PM as well. So web developer is not on, unfortunately, web developer is not on the 190 list. But if it's 491, and if we have been working in regional Queensland for last 3 months and have 12 months of job contracts, and if you show that your occupation is essential for the Queensland economy, plus for your business, and depends the nature of business where they have contracts from and which area they are working on. So depending on the supporting letter you are getting from your employer, and you need to send that to Queensland state government, and then you will get invitation. But it's again depend what sort of explanation you give to the Queensland state government.
Okay, thank you so much, Sohag. Thanks for your answer. I hope that is definitely helpful. We have another question from Karthik. Hi, I have 1 year of accounting experience in regional New South Wales, and I am still working and living in regional New South Wales. Any chance of getting 491 anywhere? Okay, Karthik, I think if you are following us from the beginning of this live session, I did mention about accountants as well. As we know that currently accountants are not available for 190 and 491. Their occupation is not there on the list. However, if you've been working and it's been 1 year, then maybe I'm not too sure what visa you're holding. If you're on 485 and you're still left with another year to go, and you can continue working, maybe after 2 years you can go towards employer sponsor pathway. If not, if you're looking into any other states, like I have mentioned before, ACT is currently definitely open for accountants. You may have chance there. But there, the point system work differently. You'll have to go there and live there for at least 3 months for 491 and 6 months for 190, live and work. And yeah, if you're working, I would suggest rather than moving straight away, maybe be here and start looking for the jobs there. As and when you find a job there, then make a move, because if you have a job there, you straight away can touch 40 points, because first your occupation is open 20 points. Second, if you're working in your occupation, that could be 20 points on top of that. Then obviously you'll have to wait for 3 months or 6 months for you to be qualifying for 190 and 491. And then yes, like you've asked, any states, accounting currently is definitely could be a good option for you. Else, like I said, if you've been working full-time 1 year, maybe wait for another year, go for another year, go for employer sponsor visa. That could be another option, just in case if you think your visa is expiring, you're not getting any invitation. That could be another pathway for you. And Karthik, I hope I've answered your question. If you have further queries, definitely most welcome. So we have another question from Sunny Kumar. Update on New South Wales 190 developer programmer 261312. Okay, hi Sunny. Thank you so much for your question. New South Wales, definitely a good chance being a developer programmer. It's open there. It's open for 190 and 491 for both of them. Depends how many points you're sitting on. Depends if you're working in your occupation, you'll definitely have a good chance. I hope you're working on your points, and I hope you're working in your occupation. So be ready, you might have a chance soon. Thank you for the question. And we have a question from Karan. How long for a 2 visa process? Karan, we've been mentioning that this is not employer-sponsored visa. Depends if you have a case study application, you might have a visa in your hand, quite soon. Tahan Manuka, any states open for offshore applicants? Tahan, well, they're different. All the states, they have got their own criteria, own requirements. If I talk about New South Wales, they have mentioned about offshore, applicants, but at the same time, it depends whether they are inviting or no, because we know the situation currently because of COVID, they might not invite any offshore candidates. But yes, we can definitely ask Preeti and Sohag if we have any news for offshore applicants for Western Australia and Brisbane. Preeti, do we have anything for them?
No, the Western Australia has currently said that they will not be inviting the people who are offshore or who are currently in Australia and Section 48 bar also. So no, there's no chances for those ones as yet. Hopefully in July, when they get the more quota and the immigration gets the more quota, hopefully from there, we could see the offshore applicants could be invited. Even in the other states also, if I'm looking into, and as and when they are opening, they're saying no, not much for the offshore applicants yet.
Exactly. Sohag, same, I guess, goes with Brisbane as well.
It's only for the onshore application.
Yes. This is mainly because, guys, because of COVID, it's nothing in anybody's hand. We are just, all of us are waiting. I hope this gets sorted and offshore applicants are able to launch their visas and are able to come here. Okay, Preeti, we have another question for you. Any chance for a chef with 80 points to get 190 in Western Australia? This has been asked by Jiang.
Okay, Jiang, can you tell me what is your highest qualification? If you're listening. So, because if you have done the diploma, you should be invited in the next coming rounds, because the points is not a worry for the WA state nomination. The first order of processing for the EOI is on the grounds of what is your highest qualification in a trade occupation. So advanced diploma people were invited at 65 points in the previous round, and the diploma with the 90 points. Now, in the coming rounds, we are expecting the diploma holders would be invited up to the 70 points in next coming rounds. So I hope this answers, your query.
Thanks, Preeti. We have next question from same to CJ. What about motor mechanic? Well, I can take New South Wales, and Preeti and Sohag may take motor mechanic for their respective states. Motor mechanic currently, same to, it's not open in New South Wales. And like I said, we have limited occupations for 190 and 491, but definitely we can ask Preeti and Sohag if we have got anything for motor mechanics. Preeti, we can start from you.
No, we don't have the motor mechanic in WA list.
Okay, and
Sohag, what about Brisbane?
Brisbane doesn't have specific list. So if you can prove that motor mechanic, your employer or you're working for the specific sector, that your occupation is helping economy to recover from the pandemic, then yes. For example, you're working for a government organization which is in critical area, and you are working as a motor mechanic over there, then probably yes, chances are there.
Okay, thank you, Sohag. Sohag, we have another question from you. Deep is asking chances of motor mechanic at 80 points, again motor mechanic, working in regional Queensland and working in same occupation, also living in regional Queensland from 6 years, he says.
It would be the similar answer just like the last time. Regardless how long you have been working for, all you need to do is just meet the minimum requirement, which is 3 months working and 12-month job contract. But again, you have to show that how your occupation is helping economy recover from the pandemic. So there, Queensland is mainly looking for those occupations that is helping. They are either in essential or that is helping economy to recover.
Okay. So we've got another question from Suchin Reddy. He says, Madam, what about facilities manager with 85 points for subclass 190 PR visa? Could you guide me on the same, submitted EOI on state with 85 points under facilities manager category. Could you please explain? Okay, Sachin, you haven't mentioned the state, but I can maybe put this question to Preeti or Sohag, and then we can discuss about New South Wales as well. Preeti, would you like to answer this question?
No, sorry, this occupation is not in the WA list either. Yes, so because for WA, it is mandatory to have your occupation in the list, and then the study continues further with this one. So probably not.
And Sohag, do we have anything for him from Brisbane? No?
No. 190 Queensland has specifically mentioned they will be only inviting people, applicants from the 18 occupation from the PM as well. So this occupation is not on that list. So
okay, so yeah, unfortunately it's not available currently. Maybe you'll have to wait, or maybe make a move, or if you have enough experience, maybe look for employer sponsor visas. That could be option. Or we have been recommending clients, just in case if they're coming from such occupations which are not in demand, or which are not even long-term list, maybe they can choose to study, maybe change a pathway, or changing pathway doesn't mean that you're just changing altogether and just leaving behind whatever you have. But at the same time, when you complete studies, you'll have two options with you. One, whatever you were holding. Second, whatever occupation you're going for, or whatever education you're doing. So for example, if I'm a motor mechanic, like you said, and I choose to study nursing while I'm on 485, then tomorrow after completing nursing, I can be a registered nurse or enrolled nurse, which is definitely in demand these days. So many occupations which are definitely in demand these days. We hope that we have answered your question. And then guys, is there any chance we can take South Australia? Preeti or Sohag, would you be able to take that question?
South Australia just got updated their occupation list today, I believe.
Sohag, we can't hear you, sorry.
Hello?
Yes, Sohag.
South Australia just got updated their list and requirement today, I believe. So I still need to go through that.
Yes, so question we have is overseas qualified nurse with 3 months Australian experience with skill assessment completed MPHA from South Australia eligible for 491 and 190?
So I can mention about South Australia.
Yes, please.
You must be currently employed in regional Victoria for 491. If you are working for 3 months in a regional area, which is South Australia, you can apply for 491 state sponsorship.
Okay.
Yeah, similar for Victoria as well. If you are working in the health sector, digital sector, any occupation, health, medical, life sciences, agriculture, food, digital sector, and any occupation, for example, even if you're working as an aged care, I had an applicant working in aged care as a chef. It's a very big nursing home, and that is you are a mandatory part of that economic recovery. So you can apply for state sponsorship.
Okay.
But all occupations have to have supporting Victoria's economic recovery at the moment.
Okay. Now that you have we have Gunjan with us, who has covered South Australia. I have another question for you, Gunjan. In that case, Gaganpreet Kaur is asking, what about South Australia IT graduate with 5.9 GPA?
So say that again with IT occupations.
Yes, IT graduate.
Yeah, there was a GTI. The options that the department came a Global Talent Independent Program. Initially, when this program came for IT graduates, if you are a PhD graduate and you have a job offer, the states were sponsoring, they were sending invitations, but now it's got really slow. The invitations have not been coming for the last 4 to 5 months. But if you talk about particular states, South Australia, they're only nominating candidates, unfortunately, for health and critical sector.
Okay.
We hope like in June and July by end of financial year, because I saw there was a news yesterday that the government is trying to build up skill shortages. They're trying to cover up more skill shortages. So we hope in the next couple of weeks and months, there are opportunities for IT graduates as well.
Okay. Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you for that. Ramchandra Dahal, he's asking almost all states open for chef 491 and 190. How about chef in Victoria for 491? When any predictions, please. Eddie would like to take Victoria.
Victoria, yes. Look, sorry, what was the client's name? You can come and register with us. We have all the clients and registered with their occupations, and as soon as some state opens up an opportunity for your nominated occupation, we'll keep in touch with you as soon as something comes up. At the moment, unfortunately, even regional area for 190, 491, it's only for health and critical sector. If you still have your visa left for a couple of months, we can advise you about your future pathways. If it's immediately expiring, we can look for further visa options, but definitely we can build a pathway according to the state requirements and the predictions as well.
Okay, thank you for that. And then we have another question from Anu Walia. She says, BCom graduate in India with 2.5 years experience as an accountant. Please recommend master's course which has a PR prospects in future. Hi Anu, thank you for your question. I can take this question for you. It depends on what interest you have. When it comes to PR pathway, there are so many occupations which are open and they are on the long-term list. But because of COVID, most of the states, they are inviting critical sector people. Accountants, if I only talk about accountants, currently ACT is what I can prefer over New South Wales or any other state because it is open. Having 2.5 years of experience, well, that's good, but not that good when it comes to the point calculation, in the sense when we calculate the points, there are different categories of claiming points. For example, age, education, your NATI score, PT score, everything, and then offshore experience, onshore experience. If you could complete 3 years of experience offshore, you can claim 5 points for your experience. Now, if you choose to study accounting in Australia as well, or if you want to change the pathway, my recommendation would be that maybe, like I said, depending on what you're interested in, IT could be a good option, nursing could be a good option, social worker, early childhood is open in ACT. But then again, if we refer you go for IT, then you might not like it. With nursing, well, depends if you are able to get the admission, then good nurses these days are very good option. If you want to discuss further with regards to any of the courses or admissions or colleges with their fee structure, most welcome. We are happy to help you and guide you further, and definitely we can look into your profile. So we have a question from Sonam. How does it look for a secondary school teacher graduate in Sydney? Hi Sonam, thank you for the question. Currently, it doesn't really, happening anything for school teacher, secondary school teacher. But if you can provide us further details, if you are studying or have completed, have got any experience, or if you would like to move to any other states. New South Wales currently is not open for secondary school teacher. If they are updating their, their list, or if they make any last moment changes, we can definitely let you know. Make sure that you contact us, and we have your, details with us, so that as and when we have any news for teachers, definitely we can let you know. Gunjan, if we can also take this question for Victoria. Any chances for students in Victoria for 491? That's the general question. If you can answer from Santosh.
Yes, again, the same criteria lies with the 491 regional area. You must be living in regional and working in the regional area for at minimum 3 months. At the moment, they're only inviting candidates for the health and critical sector if you contribute to the economic recovery, if your primary purpose of the employer's business is associated with the economic recovery. So for regional area, yes, you should be working and living there for 3 months, but you cannot apply for the other occupations other than the health and critical sector. Yeah, that's for Victoria. Because I would like to mention that when we apply for the state sponsorship, there are specific questions. Now, this is for everyone who are asking about Victoria Regional 491 and 190, that please describe the primary purpose of your employer's business and service, and please describe your roles and duties performed. Please describe how the work you undertake is critical to the Victoria economic recovery or health response to the coronavirus pandemic. So there you need to explain. So, I mean, obviously you can look for jobs, or if your course, if you can study further courses related to critical sector, so you can consult us regarding that. We can guide you through.
Okay, thank you so much, Gunjan. Because you had addressed South Australia, I have a question for you from Vishal. He says, I'm currently in India, lodged EOI with 75 points for ICT trainer with 7 each in PTE. What are the chances of getting invitation from any state currently lodged EOI for South Australia?
How many points has he lodged the EOI for?
75 points, he says.
That's a bit below the benchmark, because the issue is at the moment, Australia is inviting candidates as per their quota, and they're inviting candidates as per the nominated occupations. The IT occupations are not in the priority list at the moment. If you wish to, I mean, obviously consult, we can look how you can increase your points, or we can look for other state sponsorships for you. We can guide you through if you want to look for jobs and if you have a job offer. So not necessarily South Australia or Victoria, we can look for other options for you as well. Tasmania, Northern Territory, yeah.
Definitely. So Vishal, so if we have any other questions regarding to South Australia or any of the states, most welcome. We are happy to help you. We have a question from Ranjit. Hello, ma'am. How software engineer from offshore get a valid job offer from Australia? What that means, if we don't have a job offer, we can't apply. Okay, Ranjit, well, with regards to the job offer, you will have to deal with it. We can't help you with the job offers, but then there are so many online, I should say, the websites, Seek, Indeed, so many, and maybe you can contact through the agents who help you finding the jobs. If you're able to find a job, then good. But then again, not all states might invite you based on that you have a job offer. Like New South Wales has mentioned that they have a category of people who are offshore and has got enough experience, which is at least 5 years, or people who are living and working outside regional New South Wales if they are able to get a job offer. So Ranjit, with regards to software engineer, it's a very good occupation when it comes to New South Wales. If you've got experience, we would suggest that get it assessed. Start with the skill assessment process, and if you get experience, if you have the experience as well, and if you trying to find an employer, maybe you have good experience or enough experience that employer may also be able to help you and give you the help you with the 482 or 186 visa. We again have question for South Australia from Sky Patel. Worked as a software developer for 2 years from India. No skill assessment at moment. Information per tier required, please. And any chances for South Australia 491 student visa expiring soon? Gunjan?
Yeah. What was the nominated occupation?
So he's a software developer from India. He's got 2 years of experience, but he hasn't got it assessed yet. Okay. And he's asking if he's got any chances in South Australia.
Yeah. First of all, for any migration, you must have a valid skill assessment. There is a priority migration skilled occupation list, which is PMSOL, and software engineer is in the priority list. So first, you need to have your skill assessment done. Based on your work experience, we'll be able to assess whether you're eligible for skill assessment or not. Once you've got your skill assessment, then we will need to look what will be the nomination state requirements, and then you can apply accordingly. Be able to assess whether you're eligible for skill.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. We have a question from Rinesh Surana. Any update on Victoria 1904 IT field, Gunjan?
No, Victoria list has not changed yet. It's still in the same occupations, the same health and critical sector. If you are an IT graduate, we'll have to look what sort of skill assessment you will fit into, whether it's a software or analyst programmer or a business analyst. First, let's have a look first. What are you eligible for, which occupation, and then we can guide you about the state sponsorship as well.
Okay, thank you for that, Gunjan. We have a question from Probeen Adhikari. I'm waiting at 95 points for 190 in ICT support engineer since August 2020 in New South Wales. Any estimated time to get invitation? Have collected every possible points. Thanks. Thank you for your question, Probeen. I understand that you are sitting on good points and have been waiting eagerly that if you can get the invitation and lodge your PR application. I wish we could help, but as discussed, currently ICT support engineer is not available for 190. You might have to wait, or maybe if they're revising their list, you might have a chance, but definitely 95 is 95 are very good points. So I would suggest just wait for New South Wales to announce their list again, maybe, or if they're adding, or maybe we have chance if they add on to more occupations, and you might have a good chance with regards to support engineer. And also, as we have been mentioning, that if you've got enough experience, and if just in case your visa is expiring and nothing is happening, maybe go for employer sponsor visas. Else, for New South Wales ICT support engineer 190, currently it's not available. You'll have to wait. We have a question for you, Sohag. Niharika is asking 85 points for 491, software engineer for Queensland. What are the chances of invite?
Well, again, there is no specific list for 491, but considering your occupation, which is on a PM as well list, and if you draft a really good explanation to Queensland State Government for 491, chances are really there high to get you invited, and I hope you will get invited soon.
Thank you, Sohag. We have a question for Preeti. Registered nurse, community health, Western Australia graduate, working specific regional postcode for 4 months, full-time, any chance, skilled migration.
Okay.
Yes, Sheena.
Okay. Hi, Sheena. Now for WA skills occupation list, I don't know why, but we do not have any registered nurse on the graduate stream. The registered nurse are there in the general stream of a WA skills occupation list, which means whether you have studied in WA or not doesn't matter, but you need to have at least 1 year of an Australian experience or 3 years of an overseas experience as a registered nurse in the specialization. There are only 3 specializations which are in that list, which is one is the medical, and the other one is critical health nurse, and the one is the mental. So if you have got the skills assessment in any of these 3 ones other than the NAC and all that, and have either 1 year of an Australian experience or 3 years of an offshore experience, then we can lodge an expression of interest, and then again it will be on the basis of an invite. They are inviting currently at 75 points under the general stream for this one.
Okay, thank you so much, Preeti, for that answer. I hope we've answered your question. We have another inquiry from Mohammed Masood Rana. He says, I've completed my MPA from Sydney. Right now, I'm doing Certificate 4 in accounting from Adelaide. Am I eligible for 491 after finishing my Certificate 4 in South Australia? And if I show my part-time experience during study as an accountant, experience is countable. Preeti, Gunjan, whoever would like to take the South Australia this query, please.
The accountant, so South Australia has not specifically mentioned about that whether you should be studying a degree or certificate, but yes, there are only nominating occupations people who are living and currently working in South Australia. Now, accountant for South Australia, you need to have minimum 65 points and competent English. Did he say he's currently working in South Australia as well?
Yes, so he says, if I show my part-time experience during study as an accountant, he says.
They haven't categorized that your experience should be post qualification. And once you have your skill assessment, we can have a look for South Australia state sponsorship 491 for you. They are yet to come out with specific list for 491, but they have only mentioned in the state nomination requirements that they will only prioritize candidates who are living and working in South Australia. And minimum 20 hours per week, so that's fine. 20 hours is acceptable.
So also you have not mentioned, okay, so he's been working as an accountant while he's studying. Well, get your degree assessed if you've got masters. You already got MPA. Get your degree assessed.
But you should be working for at least minimum 12 months.
Yeah. So he's already got his MPA, but he's currently studying certificate 4. Well,
yeah,
okay.
it's a little bit, we'll have to check, because it's even South Australia, they're not very clear about their occupations, but they do prefer bachelor degree graduates. But if they haven't listed this, they will not accept certificate 4s. So once you have, like, you can consult us, we can have a look at the updated requirements once they come up soon, and then we can advise you.
Perfect. So we have Aman. Preeti, this question is for you. What is the processing time for 190 for Western Australia? My friend has lodged his file in October last year.
So has he lodged the visa application or the EOI? For an EOI, because let's say that he has lodged an EOI in October. At that time, there were no state nominations. In January was the first round that has been conducted. And depending upon the points and depending upon the highest qualification that he has achieved in Western Australia, the invitations are being given. Let's talk about the 190. If he has already lodged the visa application and is waiting, then it's a general for all of us, where it is 10 to 13 months of a processing time for a 190 application at this point of time.
Okay. We have a question from Farhad. What about Certificate 3 Carpentry in New South Wales? Farhad, thank you for your question. Unfortunately, currently, Carpenter is not open in New South Wales. But the good thing is that Carpenter is in the long-term list. So you have option to go for 189 as well, provided you work on your points. Make sure that you claim from, points from all the categories, age, education, go for the experience and everything. But if you want to specifically, get into the carpentry and trying your best in New South Wales, 190-491 currently might not be an option. But yes, good thing is that we have our neighbor ACT, with us, which could be a great help for you, because ACT, they have revised the list, and Carpenter is definitely there. If you want to have, if you have got this carpentry education and want to try your luck in ACT, you might have a good chance there. And as I've mentioned, their point system definitely works differently. If you're going to be going there, living there, you get points. Working there will give you points. So yeah, ACT is open, Northern Territory is open, Tasmania only graduate stream is open. So yeah, if not New South Wales, you might have a good chance in ACT. Preeti, again, this question, I think this is similar to other one. Derek is asking, what is the processing time for 190 visa for Western Australia?
Again, it's the same, that the EOI, if you have lodged it in January was the first round. So you should be invited in the coming rounds. And that depends upon the level of education that you have done. Sorry. And the visa, so it is between 10 to 13 months is the processing time, which is the standard for between 75 to 80% of an applications. But we have seen there are a few applications which are being processed quickly than these ones, and then the normal processing time. And the reason for those ones is they might be in the priority occupation list. Few IT and engineering occupations, we have seen that they have been granted within the 6 to 7 months also. So it depends upon a lot of factors when you have lodged, what was your occupation, but the standard processing time is up to 13 months from the lodgement.
Thank you, Preeti. We have a question from Prem Chakravarti. Social worker in New South Wales, 189, 85 points, 190, 90 points. Working in my field 20 hours per week. My chances, when can I expect? Started work 4 months back, student visa expiring in 8 months. Thank you for your question, Prem. Social worker, although is a very good occupation, it's in long-term list. That means 189, 190, 491, all three visas are available for you. But at the same time, when we talk about New South Wales, as mentioned in this session, New South Wales has announced their list, and in the list whereby especially 190 and 491, they have announced the occupation as well, and social worker currently is not available, but yes, if you have been working, then if they revise their list, they might be adding social worker, but for now you'll have to wait. But as we are discussing ACT as well, social worker is available in ACT. Maybe if you're working currently, if you're trying to find a job or maybe trying to locate, ACT could be a good option. If you're left with student, as in 8 months of student visa, if you have already availed 485, then probably you might have to go on the student visa again, depending on what level of study you're doing and what level of study you would like to go for. But yes, for New South Wales, as far as New South Wales is concerned, you will have to definitely wait. But then, yeah, if given your chance, you just left with 8 months, maybe if you want to try and make a move to, like I said, ACT. But yeah, here you will have to wait. Okay, so we have question from Kamna. What about 491 and 190 in New South Wales regional for nursing with 75 points? How much is the chances to get the nomination? Kamna, well, good news for you. Nurses are available and open for 190 and 491. Both the lists are, they have made a list whereby the nurses are there, and depending on what stream you are in, for example, aged care, medical or disability, well, with 75 points, when it comes to 491, as long as you are able to fulfill the criteria of the state, which is what we have mentioned, either show 1 year of experience, live and work for 1 year in New South Wales, or if you have studied in regional, for 2 years and live and work for 1 year, I'm talking about 491 is regional. And then either if you're not living in, working in regional New South Wales, if you're able to get a job offer, then as compared to 190, I strongly believe that you might have a chance in 491 and might not have to wait for 189 and 190. So yeah, if you're living and working outside regional New South Wales, try to find a job or get a job offer, provided the job offer has to be full-time and 35 hours, and the offer has to be for 12 months. I hope I've answered your question, Kamna, and good luck. If you are waiting and need help with regards to the skill assessment, EUI or visa application, we are happy to help you. Gunjan is asking, what are the chances of chemist at 90 points waiting from March 2020 for 189? Gunjan, thank you for your question. Well, you have not mentioned the state. I'm not too sure what state you're residing currently. New South Wales, we do not have chemists open currently. Preeti, Gunjan, Sohag, do we have anything for us chemists?
Not for 190. It's not for 190, but yeah, she can try for the 491 if she has been working in Brisbane for 3 months.
Preeti, do we have anything for chemists?
Okay, for WA, the chemist is in the list, but they must have started in WA and have got the job offer letter for the next 6 months, or have got a 6 months of an Australian experience in this nominated occupation. Okay. Along with the study here in WA. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Gunjan, we hope that we have answered your question. For 189, you might have to wait with 90 points. With regards to the states, Sohag and Preeti and myself have covered your query. David is asking, Preeti, this is for you. What about HR advisor with 1.5 years of experience, Western Australia nomination, or registered nurse aged care?
Okay. Both the occupations are not in the WA list. So the registered nurse or the HR advisor. So even if you have started here, unfortunately, WA is not going to invite because your occupation must be on that list. Yeah, the HR advisor was there, I think, in the previous list. I don't remember from the top of my head now. Yep, it was in the regional previous list, but now it is not there.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Preeti. We have a question for New South Wales and Queensland at the same time from Gurpreet Singh Pannu. So he says he's a mechanical engineer technician, and he's got 5 years of experience and got positive skill assessment. What will be the chances with 85 points for 491 offshore in Queensland and New South Wales? Sohag?
So the Queensland is not open for the offshore applicants. So Queensland is only open for onshore.
For the offshore, right? So we can't hear you.
Yeah, and I think for the, he said he's a mechanical engineer with 5 years of an experience, right?
He is mechanical engineer technician.
Or the technician, because the engineer is in the offshore list for 491, you know, with the 5 years of an experience. Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
But technician, I don't think so. That's in the offshore list for the 491 in the stream 3. Yeah.
Yes. So Gurpreet, whether it's New South Wales or Queensland, you'll have to wait. Unfortunately, mechanical engineer technician is not in 491 list, neither in New South Wales nor in Queensland. Again, if you would like to discuss further, we are happy to take your profile and discuss further. Maybe we have other ways around, and we can work around and help you. Prem Chakravarti, thank you all this team for your response. I will connect with you sometime. Thank you, Prem. Ajay is asking 20 hours job in security contract for 12 months in Victoria, Gunjan. I am currently working in Victoria. I have 90 points for 189 in Victoria. For security specialist, any chance for 189 or 190 in Victoria?
Yeah, 190 again, you must be living, you must be working in your occupation for the last 6 months. You can register your interest, but I would like to know that which company you're working in, your job duties in your IT. Like, is it related to more of a digital sector? Has it anything as your company, anything to do with the economic recovery or any digital sector? Then we can have a look at it. But at the moment for 189, there has not been any invitations. They're not inviting candidates, but for the state sponsorship only related to the economic recovery.
Okay, so guys, I think we have almost covered all the question. I can just take last question from Arvind, and then I think this is it for the day. Not unless if our panel would like to add anything with regards to the state or requirements or nominations. So Arvind is asking telecommunication network engineer in New South Wales or South Australia. Thank you for your question, Arvind. If you're living in New South Wales or in any of the states, first thing we have to keep in mind is if you're targeting or try to target any of the states, they want to see your commitment. So for example, if I'm in New South Wales, I might not have chance in any of the states. So if you're targeting New South Wales, make sure you have been living and working in New South Wales, and on top of that, depending on what subclass of visa you're targeting, whether it's 190 and 491, they've got their own requirements, they've got their own criteria to be met. New South Wales telecommunication network engineer, currently it's not open. You might have to wait. If I talk about the 491 list, it's not even there as well. So you might have to wait. So yeah, depending on your profile, please contact us so that we can look into your profile further and guide you accordingly, depending on how much experience you have, whether you're currently living in New South Wales or South Australia or any of the states, the visa subclass you're holding, we can definitely help you with that. So
I can tell about the South Australia for engineering, telecommunication. A lot of engineers,
yes.
they are only nominating candidates if you're working in a very closely related occupation for the last 18 months. And for 491, you should be closely working for the last 6 months in South Australia. Now, South Australia has got, it is only inviting candidates through talent and innovation program, which is like they've got different sectors. If you are starting up a business, or you show you that you're a very, very high caliber candidate that you're going to contribute, for example, if you've got a job offer. So it's based on a lot of factors. So for engineers, yes, I would recommend we can have a look at the options and provide them suggestions. How can they have a pathway towards South Australia state sponsorship?
Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you for adding that. So yes, I think pretty much we have covered all the questions, not unless we have got any other question. We have covered Western Australia, we have covered Victoria, South Australia, and Queensland as well. And today we also, discuss about the partner visas as well. If by any chance we have missed on any questions, guys, you can definitely contact us, either of us or any registered migration agent with the Aussizz. That's it for now, and we wish you all the best. Good luck with your future, whether it's partner visa or any skill visas or even employer sponsor visas. We're happy to help you. Make sure you contact us, and make sure that you do not waste time just being working here and there. Try to work in your own nominated occupation. That will definitely help you in many ways. Claiming points, maybe you have a chance for employer sponsor visas. If not this state, any other state would be there for you to give you 190 and 491. So all the best, good luck, and we are there for you to help you. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.